Hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Fun Fans Podcast. I'm your host, James Dillard. With me, as always, my co-host, Bailey Jackson. How you doing, Bailey?
I'm pretty good. I'm a little devastated that my Renegades are 0-4 in UFL play, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
We'll talk about that in a minute. And what else will we talk about? This is the pre-NFL draft special, so we're going to talk about the NFL draft, and you're not going to believe some of the insight that we have. Bailey's already mentioned today was rivalry and bragging rights day for the Fun Fans UFL team. So we're going to talk about that game. Maybe
I'm switching teams.
There's breaking news in college football that we'll touch on. And I think Bailey's been holding on to a little bit of a rant when it comes to the transfer portal and Clemson basketball. So we're going to let him loose on that one. And finally, of course, we'll catch up on all of Clemson spring sports. But first, the Fun Fans are a proud part of the Fanboys Fangirls Sports Podcasting Network. If you're a true sports fan, the Fanboys Fangirls is perfect for you. Find various nationwide podcasts and other sports media at thefanboys.com and all forms of social media. The Fun Fans Podcast is the official podcast for Clemson fans.
That's right. Don't forget about Ruben's Food, Sports, Spirits, and Catering, the best wings around with 2 locations in the upstate. One's at 1083 Batesville Road in Greer and 11028 Anderson Road in Piedmont. You can find them at rubensc.com. Ruben's is simply a great place to eat for all sports fans.
That's right. So first of all, we're going to talk some NFL draft. And I just want to point out, Bailey, I think we're on to something. We started this show to just talk about what it's like to be a fan, the fan experience, more so, not to leave out the nuts and bolts of the games, but more so than the game itself. So when I first start researching, I Google NFL draft, the first thing that pops up is, at least on the NFL website, was like where it's being hosted and how you can get there and get a ticket and how you can watch and who's going to be the band or whatever. And it did nothing about who's got what pick, what players are the prospects. I mean, I had to go to a different source to find that kind of stuff. So they definitely know that it's definitely a fan experience. And like I say, so maybe we're on to something. You think so?
Well, I mean, it is a big party, the NFL draft, and it amazes me that people spend all that money to go and get a ticket to the draft.
The draft, yeah.
I tell you who will not be going will be Carolina Panthers fans because they don't have a pick until the first pick of the second round.
So I've got the list here, and the Chicago Bears have the first pick, and they got it from the Panthers. Mm-hmm. And, we both obviously live near Charlotte. We were inaugural Panther fans. We were at Clemson when they played that first season in the Valley.
Us and 30,000 other people.
Yeah. And obviously I don't run an NFL team, but as I scroll down the list, I'm looking for the Panthers. The entire first round, they don't have a pick the entire first round?
Yeah, but they have the 33rd and the 39th pick, and then 2 back-to-back they have a 3rd round pick, then they have 2 back-to-back in the 5th round. And that's all because of some bad deals that were made.
Well, you said it, I didn't. I was going to say, yeah, they did so well last year. I mean, who needs first round draft picks on your team, right? Anyway,
yeah, well,
maybe they've traded for some from previous years, I'm sure. Keep pounding. All right, so the first pick is the Bears. We're not going to read the whole list, obviously. Washington, the Patriots. When's the last time the Patriots were that high? Maybe fairly recently, but that's not something we're used to.
It's been a while.
Cardinals, Chargers, Giants, number 6, the Tennessee Titans. There's our Falcons coming in at number. Then the Bears have a number 9 again, and the Jets, Jets. So that's the top 10. And, some people spend a lot of time figuring out who's going to pick who, and we're not quite worried about that. So anything else about the teams doing the picking there, Bailey?
Well, no, I'm just I grew up a Washington Redskins fan.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I'm curious, but they're supposedly taking the LSU quarterback. There's some controversy over Drake May, North Carolina quarterback, but I mean, it is what it is. I listen to sports radio, as I've said before, every morning, and whenever I'm in the car, and I am if the radio station in Charlotte, they just every day they find another expert on the draft to talk about who's getting drafted.
Well, hopefully they're listening to our show because we definitely have some insight. Believe it or not, trust me, it's coming. So the prospects, everybody's just assuming that Caleb Williams is going to get picked first by the Bears, the number one pick, the quarterback out of the real USC. I mean, any thoughts on that?
No, I don't care.
So suddenly, I'm just going to point out, suddenly the Bears GM is saying he checks all the boxes as far as humility and all this kind of stuff, and it's like the opposite of what the impression.
You read everywhere.
I don't know the kid, obviously, more power to him, but that is like the literal opposite of the impression that the average fan has gotten. So maybe he's just gotten a bad rap in the media or something. So who knows? The number 2 prospect now is Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, he's the real deal.
Ain't no questions about that cat. Whoever gets him is getting the real deal. And you mentioned you think Washington is going after Jaden Daniels?
Yeah, because it does. They can rank them like this, but most of those teams need a quarterback,
right?
So and JJ McCarthy from Michigan has moved way up the list lately.
Well, I think that'd be a good pick, in my not really expert opinion. He's obviously really, really good, and I think he has the ability and the talent to make that translate into because that's the biggest thing that we've always seen through our lives is, some folks are good in college, but they don't necessarily, it doesn't transfer to the NFL. I think his will transfer.
Well, I mean, it's just the higher the level, the faster the game is, the better the other players are. You're playing in a league now that they were the all-star on every team they ever played on.
Oh, without a doubt, for sure. So some other notables in the top prospects. I got to shout out to the first offensive tackle, Joe Alt, out of Notre Dame, is the number 4 prospect according to this little list I found. So who knows where he'll land, but good luck to the OT. And actually, I have the top 11. There's another offensive tackle at number 11 from Washington.
That's a very important position in NFL football.
So go OTs. Now I'm going to be unpopular opinion maybe, and obviously I could be wrong, but JJ McCarthy out of Michigan, the number 9, he's like the 3rd or 4th quarterback on this list.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure. Him and Drake May I think they're a coin toss, but Drake's at number 6 on this list. So I don't, good luck with that. Anyway, let's move on to, go ahead.
Let's talk about the Tigers that are going to get drafted.
Yeah. Let's move on to some notable Clemson
Tigers. So
Tigers.
ESPN has 3 Tigers in the top 70. Nate Wiggins is a projected 1st-round pick, cornerback. Yep. We remember him when he chased down the North Carolina running back.
Yep.
Rook Ororo is going to be my biggest thing I miss next year, other than my daughter cheering, will be PA announcer Dale Gilbert calling out Rook Ororo's name. Ororo.
Yep.
And then Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is also in the top 70. And then you have people like Shipley, Tyler Davis, your guy, the X-Man, Xavier Thomas, Sheridan Jones, Will Putnam, center, and Jake Venables, which those guys probably get signed as a free agent and get invited to training camp.
Yeah. So I think whoever gets Trotter, Wiggins, and X-Man, I think they're getting NFL players. The rest of them have the potential, of course, but not really sold on the rest of them being, big time in the NFL. So not popular opinion either, but definitely wish them the best and hope they'll be representing the Tigers in a very, very
that's right
positive way. But anything else about the Clemson prospects?
No, I just everybody got all excited about Will Shipley at Clemson, and he was a good player. I quit. He's not Christian McCaffrey. You know what
Correct.
I mean? Like that was the comparisons early in his college career, but he lacks, I think, and I'm just going. I don't think he has breakaway speed. You
And
know,
I don't think he's quite has the type of power that Christian McCaffrey,
or the shift.
elusiveness. He might actually have the elusiveness, but just a little less power, and then the breakaway speed, like you say. So,
But he'll be drafted by someone.
yeah, he'll make a roster. I think he'll make a roster. So, but the big thing is everybody's wondering who the first pick is. Everybody's like they just have to know, who the Bears are going to pick with that number one pick. Well,
That Bears.
we here on the Fun Fans, we actually have some intel, okay? And we actually know right now exactly who the Chicago Bears are going to pick with the number one pick, thanks to a kind of a secret mic that we have planted. So don't tell the CIA, don't tell anybody about this, all right?
This is
But
breaking because I haven't even seen
this is definitely breaking news, and it is a phone conversation, so it's kind of one-sided. But if you listen to it, you can definitely tell who the Bears are going to pick. So let's check it out.
Thanks for calling Swirsky's Deli. This is Bob. May I interest you in our Superfan special? It's a 5-strip steak with 5-pound side of kielbasa for only $39.99. We call it the heart attack on a plate. Oh, Coach Eberflus, it's a pleasure to hear from you. Yes, I'll hold while you get Mr. Poles on the line. The Bears. The Bears. The Bears. Yes, sir, Mr. Poles. I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself? I haven't had a heart attack in 3 days, so things are going pretty well. Well, certainly I've been thinking about who the Bears should take with the first pick in the draft. So you guys are undecided and are going to go with whoever I say, huh? Well, my pick is a tad unconventional, but this guy has never been tainted by the NIL or the transfer portal. He's very old school and super tough. With the first pick, I think you should go with Mike Ditka. Oh, no problem, guys. Anytime. Come on by for some Polish sausage on the house. The Bears.
Well, there you have it.
Wow.
I mean,
now I think I should explain to any younger viewers or listeners that we have that is an old Saturday Night Live skit. So look it up.
Yeah, the Fun Fans podcast and the super fans getting together. So, but hey, I mean, you heard it here. They're just going to put the old leather helmet back on old Coach Dick and
here's a question for you: what position did Mike Ditka play?
He was a linebacker, right?
No, he's tight end.
Oh, well, I'm sure he could play the position.
Dick
now.
Butkus was a linebacker.
Oh, Butkus was a linebacker.
For the Bears.
You know what they may need if those guys strap it up nowadays?
Well, they're going to need a lot of medicine, but they probably going to need some W for some energy.
They're going to need a little extra energy. Go to w.gg, enter promo code FUNFANS to get 10% off of your jitterless energy mix. It's so awesome. And I just can't say any more about that. All right. So anyway, on to some Clemson baseball, softball.
Yep.
Baseball took the series from Pitt.
Yep.
2-1. And softball, they have already beat Notre Dame twice, and they were down like 3 runs when we started the show. They didn't start till 6 p.m. Eastern, or maybe a little bit later. But listen up, fans. The baseball and softball team, the seasons are beginning to wind down. They're going to be starting the ACC tournament soon. So if you hadn't seen them yet, get out there and see them. If you're not checking them out, make sure you're checking them out and supporting them. And the baseball team is at the top of the ACC. If you didn't know, right on the coattails behind them is FSU and NC State, 2 really, really good programs. The softball team is a solid 4th, but definitely has a chance to make some noise in the tournament. Bailey, you keeping up with Clemson's women's golf?
I did see some of it. I think they finished, second?
They finished second, and they qualified for match play, and I was going to let you explain what that means because they end up going team versus team now, right?
Right. So if you and I were on the Clemson team and we were playing 2 other people on, let's say, Notre Dame's team, I would play one guy head to head, and you would play one guy head to head. And match play is not stroke play. You either win the hole, you tie the hole, or you lose the hole. You either go one up, one down, or you're all square. And then the match can end on 14, 15, 13, whenever.
Because if you get so far ahead, the other team, no way they can.
If you have 5 holes to play and you're down 5, it's called dormy. That means you got to win all 5, or if you tie a hole, it's over. You can win 3 and 2, which means I was 3 up with 2 holes to play, that kind of thing.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Clemson got paired up with Wake Forest, and either they were still going late into the evening, or they may have beat them. So
I have not seen any updates on that.
Hadn't been able to check that. I have like a distant relative that plays, so I see posts on Facebook, but we'll have to keep up with them. Good luck with to those ladies. All right, on to the bragging rights. How about them Roughnecks? Today was the bragging rights game. The Fun Fan Pot. If you didn't know, so Bailey and I picked a spring football, a UFL team to pull for before the season, and in hopes of making it more interesting. Well, Bailey picked the Renegades, and going into today's matchup, they were 0-3. I picked the Houston Roughnecks, and going into today's matchup, they were also 0-3. So it's just a battle of the bottom here.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, did you watch any of it?
No, I didn't even know it was on. I'm not watching football this time of year. It's just not right.
I have fallen back to, I appreciate it being there if there's nothing else on. And honestly, other than like the Masters, that's kind of how I am with golf. But it has been difficult to get into. I know picking a team was going to make that easier, but when your team is 0-3, in about an 8-game season,
halfway home,
it's not.
I'm here to tell you, buddy, the Arlington Renegades. I mean, I do know enough about them to know they cannot score points.
Their offense is bad.
They are awful, and so they have given up 100 points, which is most in the league. And they've only scored 75, which is not the worst in the league, but the teams that have scored less than them actually beat somebody. So there we go.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of teams that we pull for, give us an O's update.
Oh, yeah. 14-7. Just took 2 out of 3 at Kansas City. Half game back from the evil empire, the Yankees. We're coming for you, Yankees. Because the Yankees every year just buy them a team. Mm. And I'm telling you, this could lead right in to transfer portal news, but you go ahead with the next thing.
No, you can let it say everything's buying a team nowadays. You know what? I knew you were going to say that, and I forgot to put it in the script, didn't I? Sorry.
Yeah, well.
All right, we'll segue because we got some new rules in college. This is college football. If you haven't heard, starting this fall, they're going to have a 2-minute warning and helmet communication. Yeah. Yeah. What?
So more delays.
Run that back. Yeah.
Helmet comp's not working.
So the delay with the helmet comm, that's a penalty. And then the purposeful delay of like the whole game, so the players can have another timeout with the 2-minute warning. So what are honest? I don't care. I mean, one more timeout each half.
Could we cut out one television timeout if we knew we were going to have a TV timeout at 2 minutes?
Well, we could probably, but the chances of that happening are 0.
Right, because we got to make money.
I can get my secret mic banner off of there. What was I doing?
I don't know.
The CIA may have seen that. All right, that's right. They got to make their money. I mean, we're enjoying the game. It's going to be 45 or about a minute and a half more enjoyable with another timeout, or 6 minutes more enjoyable.
That's awful.
Yeah. Well,
but I think the helmet communication prevents all the sign stealing scandals, all the sheets up and the big boards, and the coach can just go.
So we're not going to have the big, I didn't think about that. They still need to have the big.
Well, they do that for formations and stuff anyway. Yeah. So, I mean.
They may have that. So speaking of college sports.
Yes.
What in the world is going on with the transfer portal and Clemson. Is it Clemson basketball?
Well, I mean, nothing that I mean, John Calipari just took over at Arkansas,
Mm-hmm.
and now the guy that came in at Kentucky had no players on his team.
Oh, I heard they had like literally no players.
Okay, just get comfortable. Here's the thing. I'm chapped. Like Jack Clark left Clemson. Okay, that's no big deal because he doesn't even know if he has any eligibility left. He may or may not have a medical red shirt. All right. Joe Girard is done. Chase Hunter declared for the NBA draft with the option of coming back. He's not going to get drafted.
Right.
PJ did the same thing last year. Chase is coming back.
Right. I agree.
The one that has me irritated more than anybody is RJ Godfrey. Okay. I love the way the guy plays basketball. He is a person that Brad Brownell and staff have developed to be at the level that he's at. And now he goes, oh, in your postseason meeting, coach, I want to start every game next year and I want to get paid however much. And coach goes, well, we'll have to check on the money, but I'm not going to guarantee you a starting position. No coach is going to do that.
Right. If they do, you can't believe them.
I'm in the portal. The guy hit the 2 biggest free throws in the history of Clemson basketball. Are debatable. It's debatable.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with he hit the 2 biggest ones ever.
Mm-hmm.
And he now, instead of being a Clemson guy, somebody who was on that team and is going to finish at Clemson, get a degree that means something, finish at what you started, like PJ Hall did. Now he's going to go, I'm in the portal.
Yeah.
It's ruining college athletics. It's ruining college athletics. So I have a solution.
All right.
You have to have, when freshmen come in, there is a salary cap per team, per sport, just like other professional leagues do. Freshmen can only make the freshman minimum or maximum.
Oh,
there's a maximum, and then there's
a team cap and a cap per class, no matter what.
So,
team.
yes. And then I think there should be longevity bonuses built in. Just like you get if you work in school, you get a raise every year you stay at the school district.
Mm-hmm.
A step increase.
Yeah.
So, or if you leave, the school that you're going to has to reimburse that university the cost of your tuition and what they spent on you last year.
Well, speaking of that, I think athletes should have to choose NIL money
or
scholarship. They shouldn't get both.
Right.
They really shouldn't get both. Somebody that's maybe, a walk-on or something can get the scholarship, and the big time players can get the money. There's no reason why they should be getting hundreds of thousands of dollars and free tuition and books and all that kind of stuff. But I like your idea though. But what's going to happen? What seems to be likely to happen is, and it might end up leading to exactly what you said. They want to be employed. This whole thing, if they talk to anybody with common sense that's not greedy like us, we wouldn't be in this mess. They want to be employees. Guys, okay, go ahead and be employees. Then they're going to sign you to these things like Bailey's talking about. Your money's going to be capped, and you're going to be under contract. You're not going to be able to opt out of bowl games, which I would love. So, okay, but none of this mess should ever happen in the first place, because the people making the most money are the agents and not the kids. We're not doing the kids any favors. A lot of the kids now are making more money in college than they are out in the real world.
Right.
And it's similar to, we've heard all the stories when professional sports started paying these exorbitant amount of money. We lived through that. When we were like little kids, they made money playing sports, but it wasn't like gazillionaire rich kind of things, right? And then as
Right.
we grew up, it got crazy. But we've heard stories that most of them are done after 2 or 3 years, and then they
Right.
don't. It's all these horror stories about they get depressed and whatever. They don't know how to handle the money, and they basically don't know what to do with their lives. And all we've done is taken that potential harm to the individual and started applying it to the even younger people in the equation. And that's so wrong as the adults in the society. But anyway,
Well, or at least put
I
something
stole
in
your
there
rant.
where it says, if you play here for 3 years, we'll pay you your NIL money.
Something.
You have to finish 2 years, 4 years,
Something.
whatever. Because there was, and I won't mention his name, there was an NFL football player, and this was the greatest idea ever, who signed a very lucrative multi-million-dollar deal a couple years ago, and he's from the area, and he had like 6 siblings, and he said, I will give each of you $1 million when you graduate from college.
Yeah.
So that is an incentive to graduate from college. And I just get so, like, as a coach, I can't imagine coaching at that level. Not only do you have to worry about banging your head against the wall for like 4.5 months versus the ACC, you got to keep re-recruiting your guys constantly. And it's every year teams change. Who's the best guy? Who can we get from the portal? Well, I'm going to pull for Clemson's 2 new transfer portal additions.
Yep. Welcome to the team.
Welcome to the Josh Beadle, I would have bet you $50 when I was watching that NCAA tournament when he was not playing in any of those games. I would have bet you money he was leaving because they don't care as much about the team, and it drives old school me crazy.
Yeah, there's got to be less buy-in.
RJ, if you're out there and you want to talk about it, give me a call. Get on this podcast with us. I would love to talk about it because you are not. I mean, you're a Clemson guy till you're not a Clemson guy.
Yeah.
I'll go back to that thing this summer. Kelly Bryant got an ovation for what? He left. He's not a Clemson guy. Anyway, all right. I just think it matters. And I've dealt with kids who go to 3 or 4 high schools in 4 years, and they get mad at you and they transfer out because coach don't like me. Come on, work for something. How about work for it?
Work for it. And see, what you're saying is why a lot of the older, more veteran coaches are getting out of the business. And
right, there's no way I'd do it.
Big talk on a lot of sports radio I listen to is just they're at a point in their career where they're not going to change.
It's hard enough.
It's a completely different recruiting and coaching life and concept. So Saban, I don't care. He has alluded to that was one reason why he got out, but there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, he was already 70 something, obviously stuff too, but
you got second and third teamers coming in. Hey, coach, I need a raise, man. You need to get on the field.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do. How about get to work?
Everybody, you turn on the radio and they talk about this kid in the portal, and they talk about this one kid, and it's a kid that played or started or whatever. And hardly ever do they keep bringing up that like 20 or 30% of the players that enter the portal never find another team.
Next week, I'm going to have those numbers for you next week. And then I'm going to have numbers for the ones that enter the portal one time and then are in it again.
Well, the defensive end that just got in the portal, Clemson's defense, supposedly he already transferred to Clemson from somewhere, and he's a freshman, and now he's transferring again.
No, I think he was a signee, but so he's already found a new school. Hold up a second. They put it out today. So it was just announced that he was hitting the portal, right?
Yeah.
And so he has a new school already. Well, guess what? Somebody was talking to him before he told the staff he was going to be in the portal.
Oh yeah, he's
is that Is that illegal? Is it?
I
I don't know
see.
what the rules are.
I don't think anybody knows. I don't think any of the coaches like that. That's for sure.
Well, he had committed to Minnesota before Clemson, and he's going back to Minnesota. So maybe, I don't know.
Minnesota.
Maybe he just called him up and said, I'm getting in the portal. Can I come back there? And, of course, they said yes because it's Minnesota.
It's Minnesota. All right. Well, wow, that was a much longer and probably better rant than what I was thinking. Is the 2-minute warning over?
I'm tired. I'm tired of dealing with it.
At least we gave the listeners a 2-minute warning before we started. Speaking of warnings,
hold up. Don't go anywhere. I know we're running tight.
No, we're good.
We don't have a producer cutting us off. Basketball, Clemson basketball did get 2 transfers because we have to.
All right.
Jaden Zachary, Boston College point guard. You may remember him from the first round of the ACC tournament where he lit up the Clemson Tigers.
Yeah.
11.3 points a game, 4.2 assists, 83% free throw shooter, and he scored over 1,000 points in his career. Thank you, Boston College. And Victor Lakin, he's from Russia. 6'11", 240, 12 points a game at Cincinnati. He can step out and shoot the 3. He's not PJ Hall, but he's a big dude. So, hey, go transfer portal, guys. We need you, man.
It's just kind of the way it is.
Yeah.
Way it is nowadays. So
who else we getting?
Welcome to the team. Maybe they'll bring some more Russian, the Koloffs with him. Hey, speaking of old school, yeah. If you're too young, you're gonna miss a lot of the stuff on the show.
I'm pretty sure the Koloffs are from Belmont, right up the road. I think they were actually.
Speaking of old, this is our 97th episode, and we are definitely going to have a centennial celebration here in about 3 weeks. And speaking of, it's going to be 3 weeks because of, I hate to do this, but with spring sports and my schedule and Bailey's schedule, we've missed most Wednesdays. And if we look at the calendar between now and probably summer, the chances of us be able to get on here on a Wednesday are slim to none. So we're just gonna come to you live on Sundays.
That's right.
And we're gonna put something out there for you on Wednesdays. But we're gonna get back to it as soon as we can. Yeah,
I know you're gonna miss the hard hitting information you receive here.
Yeah. Our Wednesday show is entering the transfer portal.
Yes, it's transferring to never.
But today was a great show. I hope you enjoyed it. Hey, let's enjoy the fan experience. You watched the draft. I watched the NFL draft.
I do. Yeah,
that's great.
I probably won't tune in quite as much. I like to see Clemson guys and I like to see my teams who they pick.
See, our prom's Friday, so I'll be at the prom looking at stuff. I've done that many years, so I'll be all dressed up, watching the draft on my phone or getting updates or something every once in a while. But of course, watch the first round on Thursday. Don't tell anyone about our hidden cameras and hidden microphones. Good luck to everyone in the draft, and especially the Tigers that are in the draft. And go enjoy some spring sports at Clemson or your favorite university. It's about to be postseason. Thanks again for checking us out each and every Sunday. Don't forget to click subscribe on the Fun Fans Podcast YouTube channel, as well as your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on social media and share, please. You can reach out to become a sponsor on behalf of the Fun Fans Podcast, J Thrilla Entertainment, the Fanboys, Fangirls Podcast Network, and Bailey Jackson.
Renegades should fire their coach. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thanks for listening.